am not who I seem to be. I'll just say it. I'm transgender. I have the body of a boy, but inside, I'm a girl. It's complicated. When people think of someone who's transgender, they think of some old dude wearing bad makeup impersonating Marilyn Monroe on the weekends. That's not me. I'm a poet. I love Jane Austen. I like to dance and smile. I want to be called beautiful. My soul is simple and pure, like a small clear gem. And I think my soul is beautiful. The thing is, it's taken me a long time to get here, because my entire life I've felt this deep shame about who I am. I felt like everything that came naturally to my spirit was somehow bad and insufficient. I'm carefree and hopeful. No, I must be competitive and pragmatic. I'm compassionate and empathetic. But no, I must be self-sufficient and logical. I wanted to ask for leather boots for Christmas, and instead I asked for aftershave. Our society demands that I fit into these ridiculous boxes of masculinity and femininity. I have male junk in between my legs, and therefore I have to dress a certain way, and act a certain way, and smile a certain way, and express love in a certain way. I'm not saying I have a problem with gender roles. The great dance between the yin and the yang of the universe is breathtakingly beautiful. What troubles me is that I'm automatically not allowed to join this dance because I'm different. I'm sorry. I just don't feel like a dude. My emotions, my paradigm, my self-image, my everything feels female. What do you want me to do about it? Be a lie?
I was 15 when I started putting the pieces together. The pang in my chest when I saw a gay couple happy together on the street or in a movie. The excitement I felt at sleepovers when my friends decided we should practice kissing and caressing each other. The lack of normal attraction to my previous boyfriends. The way I would check out other girls in school, and not just to see who was wearing the cutest styles, but whose butt looked best in them. The realization that all these thoughts and feelings were not normal. I don't remember the day when all these pieces came together to form one life-changing, confusing puzzle. But I know that afterward, I spent weeks journaling, Googling, confiding in a close friend, and soul-searching late at night before I came to terms with it all. So, I decided to tell my parents and close friends I was gay. Life went on rather well after that, after people got over the initial shock. Then everything changed one day. I met the most amazing person who heard about my orientation through a close mutual friend. We talked about it in the open, and it was okay. I started to feel attraction, but I was so confused because my new friend was a straight male. He asked me out even though he knew I was gay. I had an identity crisis. I had just come out as a lesbian and now I was going to have a boyfriend? What were my parents going to say? Did this mean I was bisexual? But I didn't like that orientation because it seemed like a cop-out or the stage you're in before coming to terms with your own true and total gayness. But I told myself to just ignore my orientation since it probably wasn't going to last long anyway. I fell head over heels for him. And now here I am, 3.5 years later, talking about marriage with him. But I lay awake at night, thoughts racing through my head. I lament that I will never have the opportunity to have a full, real relationship with a woman. But I love him. I worry that people will just assume that we're a typical straight couple forever. But I love him. I want to be a part of the gay community that I identify with, but I can't be a lesbian with a boyfriend. And I still don't love the word bisexual because it makes it seem like I love both men and women, but I don't. I love him. I once read a quote that said, "Jars are for labeling, not people." But I need a label. An explanation because where I am right now makes it seem like I am in a jar, alone, understood by no one. Not even myself.
What's better than sex? Chocolate? Cake? You've got it. Chocolate cake. Really, though, sexuals and asexuals alike can agree. Cake is better than, or at least equivalent to, sex. Yeah. You heard me. Asexual. Asexual does not mean that I can split into two and make a mini-me twin copy of myself. Though that would allow me to join the X-Men. Sweet. Asexual does not mean that I don't have sexual preferences. In my case anyway, though, for some others, it might. And asexual does not mean that I can't be romantic. I do develop feelings for special people in my life. I just don't feel the need to express those feelings through sex. Think of sex like an awesome, melty, chewy, delicious cookie. Tempting. Huh. Yeah, I can see it. Most of you are salivating right now at the thought. That's fine. No judgment. But when I see that cookie, I don't have that overwhelming urge to eat it. It's not that I don't believe the cookie's delicious. I believe that. It's not that I think the cookie is inherently disgusting. And it's not that I'm dieting myself away from the cookie. That's abstinence. Not eating the cookie is just in my nature. Sure, at some point in my life, I'll consider the cookie, but unless something really speaks to me about this particular cookie, in this particular time, in this particular circumstance, I won't eat it. I'll put it back down. That doesn't mean that I don't enjoy a degree of physical closeness. I love being cuddly. It just lacks the connection to sexual intimacy. For me, being close to you means you're special. But even though I can go a long time without a kiss, I can't go too long without a hug. That's human. It's hard leaning toward the asexual side of the sexual spectrum in a very sexualized world.
One, Hispanic of the female sex, pansexual, demi-romantic, and gender fluid. That's me. Or at least the labels I use for convenience. I'm here to tell you more about being gender fluid. I'm sure by now you're wondering, what the hell does that even mean? It means that there are days when I am a female and I put on makeup and proudly show off my curves. It means that there are days when I am a male who forgets I don't have the right parts in the body that I have. It means there are days when I want to wear both a binder and a skirt because I am both a boy and girl. It means there are days when I am neither and I dress in sweats and hoodies because I don't have a specific gender I want to express. It means that there are days when my gender is a non-committal meh and a shrug. It means there are days that I fit in the binary and days that I don't. Are you confused yet? Don't worry, I am too. To be honest, the only reason I figured out I wasn't cisgendered was because of the body dysphoria I experienced. Body dysphoria is this feeling of wrongness with your body. You feel like you're trapped in the wrong one and you wish you could just peel off your skin because it's all wrong. I shouldn't have boobs, but where is my dick? Why can't I have both? It's just wrong. I didn't know who to talk to about it. How do you even bring something like that up? So I hid it. And it sucked because I wasn't me. It only took one person to break my forced silence. He was the first friend I made yet, and he happened to be queer. When he told me, he was a little afraid of my reaction, but he was not ashamed. Because there is no shame in accepting yourself as you are. It was rough at first. I spent a full year in therapy because opening that Pandora's box made my depression and anxiety worse. I was a mess. But how could I not be, considering how many years I'd been throwing things into the box? I got better, but I was afraid of rejection still. It took getting dumped in the worst way possible to get me to snap out of it. I told my fiance about my discovered gender identity, and he told me he'd be fine with me being me. But then he dumped me a month later with a flimsy excuse. It was the rage that pushed me to where I am today. How dare he treat me like that? Like I was less because I was different? I am just as valuable as anyone else. He had no right to trample all over my feelings like they were nothing. And Eureka, I grew a backbone. It's not perfect. The body dysphoria still gets me some days, but it's not as bad as before. I learned to love myself. I appreciate my female self more now that the other me's get a turn to be seen. I am gender fluid, and if you can't accept that, then sorry, I'm not sorry. I refuse to change for your comfort. I am done denying who I am. I will be me, unapologetically, whether it's female me, male me, or other me. I am proud of who I am. Oh, 5'1" of the beautiful mess God created me as.
I heard that there is some kind of lesbian underground out there at ND. Could you help a sister out? What? I'm tired of feeling so alone.
I remember I was in 6th grade when my sexuality was defined for me. 6th grade? You're like what, 11 or 12 years old? I never even thought about sexuality at that point. But a group of guys came up to me, asking me if I liked guys, and they went through a very extensive list of reasons why they thought I was gay, as if I were some science experiment. You know, I never understood some people's sheer obsession with someone else's business before they get a chance to understand themselves first. I still feel a bit slighted or a type of way about it. Like I never got the chance to grow into my own. Like my sexuality was thrust upon me before I was even ready. After that, it was a bit of a struggle. I was marked. I was different. I stood out, and for all the wrong reasons. I wanted to figure out how to stop being that thing. But I did figure it out. I guess they were right. Things really do get better. In college, I came out to my friends. Thankfully, they all still accepted and loved me. Yay. And then I moved to Chicago. Chicago was my renaissance. For the first time, I could experiment with how I looked and who I liked. I could explore aspects of myself that I never even knew existed. For once, all the things that people in my past saw as faults were finally celebrated. And that confidence propelled me into law school. I was really excited about coming to Notre Dame. I mean, come on. Campus is absolutely gorgeous. One of the best law schools in the country. But I don't know, just when I got here, it wasn't what I expected. I will admit, it's hard to tell a professor's political views, which is important, you know, neutrality of the law and all that. But I don't know, like, I felt like I wasn't enough. I would hear laughter when I strutted down the halls, when I would pretend like it was my own runway. People, professors even, would give me that kind of look where you can feel eyes intensely studying you. When I would show up to class or office hours with nail polish on. But it wasn't even the school that gave me pause. One time, I wore a bunch of glitter to a football game. We went to Brothers after. And some dude stopped my friend to ask, what's wrong with him? What was wrong with me? Could you imagine that? A man wearing glitter indicates that there's something wrong with him. After that, I began to think I didn't belong. I pored over every detail, ripping apart every aspect of my personality to figure out what was wrong with me. It was like I took a huge step back into the closet. I began to edit myself. I changed the way I walked, made sure my voice would sound extra deep. And you would never see any nail polish on me. No, I didn't want anything to be wrong with me. And you know what? I know there's nothing wrong with me. I know I'm unique. I know I'm smart. I know I belong. No, I deserve to be here. But you know what? This shit is absolutely exhausting. I'll be honest with you. I'm tired. Do you think an obviously straight white man, whatever obviously straight even means, has to deal with any of this shit? Do you think they're hyper aware of the way they sound, making sure they don't swing their hips too much or else that'll give it away? Do you think they have to be aware of every little detail because anything too feminine will destroy any shred of credibility they have? Do you think they have to fight to be respected? No. They're perfect just the way they are. All they have to worry about is if their shirt is pressed enough, if every little strand of hair is slicked back enough, if they smell good enough. All they have to do is show up, and that'll always be good enough. It was a bad day, and I decided to take a walk across campus. Being Hispanic, I grew up in the faith, grew up Catholic. And I know what the doctrine says about homosexuality. I get that. But the aesthetic, being in the presence of something bigger than me, calms me down. That day, I walked towards the statue of Jesus, you know, the one where he's looking at the dome. Etched into the statue is Venite admet omnes. Come to me, everyone. Everyone. There are no conditions imposed. All Jesus asks of us is to come to him. No matter our state, no matter our imperfections, just come to him. And then I walk into a classroom and I witness the hypocrisy Jesus despised. Do you think the professor, he lists the conspiracy elements, but I know that he thinks that I don't deserve the same rights he has because something that I cannot change? I look at the cross and I don't see salvation. All I see is judgment. I know my sexuality doesn't define me, but my queerness is all that they can see. I know I'm worthy in his eyes. But when will I be worthy in their eyes? For once, I'd just like to be enough.